Hi everyone, it's spring 2020 and it's me, Sue Zimmer, your Student Success Commons Science tutor. This video will cover the patella and the femur. Make sure that you have at least your textbook in front of you, if not the whole bone box, because touching the bones is always better than just looking at pictures of them. So let us start with the patella. So good news about the patella is you don't have to name anything on it other than the fact that it's the patella. It's really distinct looking to me, kind of small, see? Kind of looks like a circle. So that's your kneecap, but don't write kneecap. On your lab exam, write patella, because that is the patella. So then we're going to go over my favorite, the femur. So the femur, you need to know if the femur is a left or if it is a right. To me, the femur is one of the easier ones to decide if it's a left or a right. But you'll still need to have your 2 points of reference as always to make that choice. But we'll talk about that at the end, probably, yeah, at the end after we go over all the features on the femur. So let's get started. So on the femur, you have the head, which is right here. You have the greater trochanter. My finger is on the greater trochanter. Then you have the lesser trochanter. So this is the greater trochanter and this is the lesser trochanter. So I'm holding up the anterior aspect of the femur. Now I'm going to turn around and hold up the posterior side of the femur. So that's the greater trochanter and the lesser trochanter. It kind of looks like a duck or a dog or something. So this is the greater trochanter, lesser trochanter in the head. Next up on the femur, you're going to have the condyles. So I kind of have a trick to remember condyle versus epicondyle. Now I'm well aware of the fact that epi actually means like above, but I still think that there are little tricks we can use that can help us remember. So when I think of an epicondyle versus a condyle, usually the epicondyles are bumpy and epi sounds like bumpy to me. So I'll just ask myself, is it bumpy? Oh, it must be an epicondyle. Is it smooth? It must be a condyle. So that's how I'll tell the difference between the two. So I'm looking at, see there's the head. So I'm going to move it down to the inferior portion and turn it sideways so you can really see it. So these are the smooth condyles. This is the medial condyle and this is the lateral condyle. So that's part of the reason why it's so important to know if it's a left or if it's a right, because of course you cannot just say that this is a condyle. You'll be wrong, because really there's the head up there, you see it? Really this is the medial condyle, and again there's the head up there. This is the lateral condyle, and if you don't tell your teacher if it's medial or if it's lateral, you're going to be wrong and you're not going to get that point. So know if it's a left or a right. Then you have the epicondyles. So they're the bumpy, see how it's bumpy? Bumpy epi, epicondyle. Bumpy epi, epicondyle. So here's the head. This is the medial epicondyle. Here's the head. This is the lateral epicondyle because it's bumpy. Condyle smooth, epicondyle bumpy. Next up, we're going to do the linea aspera. So here's the anterior. Looking at my femur from the anterior view, I'm going to turn it around so it's posterior. Hopefully you can see this. I'll hold it up as close as I can. You're probably really going to need to look at least at a picture for this. So this is the posterior side of the femur, and this is the linea aspera. To me, it looks like the letter A a little bit, and it's a line, and it's white. So that would be linea aspera. So this is the posterior side, and this is the linea aspera. So it looks like an A, it's white, and it's a line, linea aspera, and it's on the posterior aspect of the femur, okay? The last thing that you need to know on the femur, you look at the anterior portion aspect of the femur, and right up here in the knee area is the patellar surface. So that's right where the patella sits, right? That is the patella surface right here. Patellar surface. So that's sound in there. Patellar surface right here. And that is all of the features that you need to know for the femur. But now that you know all the features, you need to decide if it's a left or a right. Always have 2 points of reference. One is never, ever enough. So your 2 points of reference can be different than mine. And I'm sorry, I just realized that I forgot one. Turn around the back. This is the intercondylar fossa. So there's the head. Turn it around posterior. That is the intercondylar fossa. So this is silly, but I firmly believe the sillier it is, the easier it is for people to remember. So it kind of looks like a butt to me. So the butt crack is the intercondylar fossa. It also makes sense that it's the intercondylar fossa because it's between the condyles. So the butt crack on the posterior aspect of the femur is the intercondylar fossa. Sorry about that. So back to left or right. My points of reference to know if it's left or right, you must always have 2. I always use the same 2. I use the head, and I say to myself, is the head facing medially? Yes, it is, which is good because it needs to plug into acetabulum on my hip. And then the second question I ask myself, once I know the head is facing medially, I say, is the butt crack in the back? Because butt cracks are always in the back. Oh, the butt crack is in the back. So the intercondylar fossa. If the butt crack's in the back and the head is facing medially, then I know for sure that I have a right. So this is a right femur. Feel free to pick your own 2 points of references, but I like those 2. Good luck.